Previously, on Chosen Ones, Arthur and Shui journey out into the storm in search of Essence, finding her standing on the waters of the pond as she hums a strange tune. Arthur stays behind with her as Shui heads back to the library. Brandy, meanwhile, goes to find Wynne, worried about what's taking the sword singer so long. The two make their way outside to look for Shui, and catch him on his way back up the fire escape. Wynne leaves to find Arthur and Essence, and comes back with both, holding Essence in his arms as she appears to have fallen asleep. As our four protagonists attempt to go to bed for the evening, all but Avayath drift into unconsciousness. The Asmer notices Peter moving around one of the windows during the evening, and approaches him. A jabber has made its way towards the library, and tries to speak with them briefly, before Peter appears to lose interest, and makes his way back to Estel's office. Avayath wakes up Brandy, and he also tries to talk with the jabber, who seems much more agitated by the tiefling's presence. It slinks off after his attempts to converse with it, but tells Brandy to come back and help Father, as it vanishes into the rain. The next morning, Theo attempts to help make breakfast with the compound cooks. It could have gone better. Avayath leaves to train with Peter, and Shui approaches Libris and Arthur to ask Libris when he should plan on training. From there, we continue into the late morning, the storm still going strong.
Forget your place and never find grace. Fly me away before the clouds are paid. So we will lose our wings within the storm. Breathe me, take what's left of me. I lose my mind to fate. I cannot disgrace. Heart beating hard, erase your belief. I will destroy what's left and run away. Come to the page, the curtains rising soon.
Were Brandy and Theo gonna do anything?
Brandy's got garbage fucking research skills, but he's gonna try and look for bucks, I guess.
What are you looking for, Brandy? I've spent a lot of time in here, so...
I don't know. I want to know more about this Avayath fella, since he's coming up a lot more.
Right.
Maybe some info on the Darkborn Queen, maybe some shit about the jet. I don't know. There are a lot of things I want to look into, I guess.
Well, I'm happy to help.
Sure, if you wanna. I don't want to take up your time.
It's not taking up my time. I want to be with you.
If you say so.
Up to you on who rolls. You can roll with advantage, or you can roll separately for two different topics.
Go ahead and roll with advantage, Theo.
Ooh.
Okay, one of those is good, yeah. What did you pick that you wanted to research of the topics?
Probably just going in order, so Avayath first.
So looking up general information on Avayath, he is the first archfiend that was recorded, as far as you are aware. Appears to have been relatively hard to find and hard to contact for the first 100 years of his existence or something like that. Or not even 100, less than 100, but it was quite a few decades. No one was even able to contact him. And it appears something seemed to have happened, because out of nowhere he was very active in the material plane. There are rumors, nothing confirmed, that something happened between him and a lot of other powerful beings, and he was essentially banished from every plane but the material one, which is why he became so active here. A lot of resentment towards other deities in general from him, known to cause a lot of conflict, specifically with religious folks. Anyone who worships a god, he tends to have something against. Same with just gods in general. Just a general hatred towards them. And because of that, was very notorious, and name was well known in early history. Up until about the year 316, so about 25, 26 years ago, he seems to have just vanished without a trace. No one knows where he went. He was completely unheard of, just gone. And then he seemed to resurface again 2 years ago, and this is the most recent entry that you found in any of the books. 2 years ago, he seemed to have resurfaced, caused a lot of havoc again for about a year, and then was vanquished by Avayath, who has made it into the history books.
Hey, look, it's Avayath.
Yeah.
Seems to be the most recent copy that you found had that information.
Well, I hope you found the information you wanted, Brandy.
Sure didn't. Cool.
Oh. At least you got some information, right?
I suppose.
There are no mention in any of these books of Abagrim tieflings.
There's no notes of them?
None.
Yeah, that figures.
And what else did you want to look up?
Info on the Darkborn Queen, and just jabbers in general.
I feel like I tried to look up information on jabbers in general.
You got all the information that you will probably get about jabbers.
Was it said that the creature that the jabber is, like, inside the jabber is dead already, or no?
Estel, when she talked about it, said it's a folklore, essentially. There's not a lot of information. It was a children's storybook. Found in folklore, children's fairy tales, creatures that are said to have lost themselves and forgotten what they are, so they try and find it in others. According to legend, they can only repeat what they've recently heard, and that is all that is known about them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Brandy, I have definitely been looking up, or trying to look up more information on the jabber, but it's just really not much else other than the initial little folklore thing that Estel showed us.
Right.
But I can, of course, try to help with the other thing. And he will try to do that. 23.
So looking up the Darkborn Queen, she is a very mysterious figure. No one has ever seen her with her mask off. Seems to keep to herself a lot. In all of the history books and things that you read, she has been the leader of Black Peak since its inception. Seems she is incredibly secretive about herself and just in general what happens in Black Peak. There are not really any records or talks about the details of Black Peak itself, other than it is a very closed-off society. At one point, it appears to have been more open, but after the fall of Wick, after the Prime Capital formed and Wick fell, blamed them for it and said, oh, this was your fault. You clearly weren't happy with the way that things were going in Wick, and so you took it into your own hands to destroy it. And after that, they got incredibly closed off and refused to allow anyone who had not grown up or lived there into Black Peak. The Queen is known on occasion to be seen outside of the castle, but it is very rare. It is believed that she is a spark, but again, has not made many public appearances, and there is not much that is known about her in general.
Is something wrong?
No, it's fine.
No, is everything okay?
I'm fine, Theo. It's fine.
Theo pouts. It's like, really?
It's nothing. Fine. Now I'm just gonna go, relax for the day, I guess.
Okay. Just call for me if you needed me, then.
Right.
I wanted Shui to kind of go up to Riddle
Okay.
and ask if they could train together, because, you know, Riddle has that spark that lets
Yeah.
him keep his balance, and Shui wants to do balance training.
You want to train with me?
Yeah.
Inside.
He says, is that a problem?
Looks outside.
We can go
No,
outside.
no,
yeah.
no. If you would like to train inside, that's perfectly fine.
He nods his head, and he's just like, your spark is really useful, and I was wondering if you had any pointers or tips.
It's hard to give pointers to something that you're just born with.
Well, show me how you do it.
Okay, well, I stand up, and he stands up. And that's it.
She's gonna try to push him.
Okay. Roll to try and push him.
He's gonna take shove action then. What the fuck is up with these rolls?
What'd you get?
I rolled a 3 plus 9.
Damn. Okay, we still beat him. He's not very strong.
Oh, wow.
You go to push him, and you do, like, feel like you move him a lot. You push him, like, a good 3 or 4 feet, but he does not fall over. And he's just straining, and he's like, see?
And she's like, huh. Okay, do it to me.
He rolls up his sleeves.
And she's gonna stand there like riddled it.
He's gonna try and push you. He got a 17.
Oh wow, I beat him.
He goes to, like, give you a good solid push, and you kind of just end up at a standstill, essentially, like, straining against each other.
He's like this? Like this?
Yeah, like that.
Am I doing
You're
it?
doing it.
And she's kind of like laughing.
And Riddle is not. He's just pushing as hard as he can.
I rolled an 18 plus 3.
Yeah, he continues to try and push you, and just, you don't budge, and after a while he's like, good job.
That's all I wanted.
Okay. So you make your way towards the church of Avayath. It is still pouring rain out on your way there, but eventually you make it there. You can see muddy footprints from 2 sets of prints that are leading into the church as you go up to it.
It's flooding in here inside of my armor. so much heavier. Give me a second. He takes it off for a second, lets the water pour out, puts it back on.
Yeah, as you walk into the church, you can see Wynn currently in the pews. Looks like he's sleeping. And Peter is currently up on the stage looking back at you, and he's just like, perfect, you're here.
Did Wynn fall asleep on his own?
I guess he was up all night or something.
I'm going to insight that.
Go for it.
15.
15? Yeah, he appears to be telling the truth.
Is today a day we're supposed to be training, or is there a reason why we're training when we're not supposed to be?
Your training with me isn't supposed to be physical, so figured we could still do it even if there's visitors here.
I remember you talking with Estelle about training Brandy, and she said something along the lines of you wanting to train him for your own sake. Is there something that you mentors get out of this training?
Not necessarily, no. Me and Estelle just both have interest in Brandy, that's all. But I'm also interested in you.
I see. So it's just training to help us get stronger, and that's it?
Yes, we pick who we want to train based on who we think we can help the most.
I see. Okay then. Sorry for delaying things. Let's begin then.
No worries. Come up onto the stage with me.
He does so.
Peter's just like, we're going to be doing some religious studies today. As paladins, it's important that we keep up with our oaths and do what our gods ask of us when signs are provided.
Religious studies. That's a great idea. Oh, I love that.
Yes, I figured it made the most sense to train you. You were my first and my second choice.
I see.
There were just other things involved with Brandy that made him also technically be my first and second choice, but neither here nor there. Do you know what your god is asking of you, Avayath?
No, he's been dormant for quite some time. Very silent.
He gives you kind of a little nod at that, and he's like, you worship Claytor, don't you?
Yes.
It's a difficult god. Don't think anyone's heard of him since when he first formed.
Well, I follow him because of the standards that he upholds, and I believe that he will return someday.
It's good to have faith.
He nods.
Sometimes things aren't always clear to us, and we need a little extra help. And he tips his head towards the confession booth at that, and he's like, I found reflection to be a good technique. If you'd ever want to try again, it sounds like your first experience wasn't very impactful.
My first experience was certainly interesting, but sure, I wouldn't mind trying again.
Go on ahead, then.
He goes in.
Claytor!
And do you go and sit down?
Yeah, he sits down with his arms folded, just waiting.
As you sit down, you immediately hear, like, the sound of, like, fluttering wings as someone sits down next to you again. And you just hear, hello again, Avayath! It's been a few weeks, how have you been?
I've been doing well.
I see, so much has happened, I feel like. Still no god in this booth, though, still just us.
Oh, how unfortunate.
Can you believe we turned into a bear?
Yes, it was perfect timing. Oh, I wanted a bear.
We did want a bear. We got a bear. If you just believe hard enough, right?
Exactly, anything is possible.
That's right. We've had so much happen. We went to the keep, and then we did our finals and all that, and we fought Brandy, and he's still alive. Look at that.
Yes, and Brandy did well. He didn't use necromancy or anything.
He sure didn't. We know he has ties to Avayath now, though.
Well, not really. He was born under the Avayath, but hasn't really talked to him.
You saw how he was in that one fight. He lost control. Remember when we fought the Jabber in the woods? I'd say that looked pretty scary.
Could that be related to the Avayath?
Who knows?
He ponders for a minute. Have you had experiences with Brandy's outside of what I've seen?
Of course not. I'm you. Your experiences are my own. Remember, I don't exist without you here in the booth with me.
Do you know anything about Brandy that I don't?
No, I just know he's an Avayath tiefling, and we don't like Avayath, correct? So why don't we kill him?
Well, because he hasn't... There's no proof that he's,
there's
under
no
the Avayath's
proof,
command.
Sure, but do you want another Marfire?
Okay, he's gonna insight now. 20, finally, Jesus.
There's something fishy going on here. Definitely. 100%.
Okay, finally he's catching on. I'm tired of being manipulated. He's like, you sure like to talk about Brandy, don't you?
He's on our mind.
I suppose, but I'm more concerned about Essence, truth be told. Brandy's behavior has been fairly passive.
I wouldn't call it passive. It seemed important enough. Maybe these are more your subconscious thoughts.
Perhaps. It's... The potential danger could be greater with Brandy, because he does seem like he has things to hide, but...
Yes, he certainly does.
I'm not sure if I'm ready to jump to conclusions about Brandy quite yet.
I don't think we're jumping to conclusions. You saw what was under that one Jabber, right? Looked to be the same. What if the same thing happens to Brandy?
Same thing could happen to Brandy?
It's possible. We don't know how it works, but if it happened to one Avayath tiefling, maybe it'll happen to another.
I think it's too early to kill him. But this is certainly something to look into.
Why are you hesitating so much?
Or are you pretending to be me?
There is a very long pause as you kind of hear that shuffling on the other side of the booth seem to change in the way that it sounds. You don't hear wings and you don't hear like metal rustling. It just kind of sounds almost like hissing coming from the other side. And you just sit in silence for a moment.
You caught on to that, huh?
It took a while, but those aren't thoughts that I would think.
The silence just seems to grow louder, and it feels like the presence has left the booth.
Yeah, Avayath very quickly opens the booth, and he's like, something went wrong in there.
As you walk out, you see currently Peter standing in the middle of the stage, kind of holding his sword and looking towards the front entrance as you just hear lightning almost comically crack and see that down the aisle, you see Alia currently standing in the doorway.
Am I interrupting something?
Avayath grabs out his sword and shield.
And you see Wynn kind of just very quickly like, and like get up in from the pews and be kind of looking around and rubbing the back of his head, confused. And you see his eyes kind of widen as he looks at Alia and then looks back towards Peter, still very confused. And Alia kind of tilts her head looking at you, Avayath.
You're paladins. I'm surprised you aren't doing more combative training, or is that off limits?
Religious training is necessary as well.
I suppose so.
And Wynn at that is just kind of like, sorry, I guess I fucking fell asleep. Well, he wouldn't say fuck. Sorry, I literally did that.
Sorry, just fucking fell asleep.
Yeah, he wouldn't say fuck. He's just like, sorry, just waking up. We're still going to do combat training and stuff. Peter just wanted to do more personalized training like this. And you see Ilya's head, like, just snap towards Wynn. You're here, forgot. And then she looks back to Peter for a moment before turning her head back to Avayath.
You're Avayath Abaddon, correct?
Yes, that's who I am.
I've heard a lot about you.
I've heard about you as well.
Oh, have you? I'm sure not great things.
No, not great things at all.
I've heard not great things about you too, so...
I'm no war criminal. I'm not like you.
War criminal, it just kind of depends on who wins the war.
Avayath just kind of squints at that. I guess he's just going to cut to the chase. He's just like, so what are you doing here? What is your aim?
I came to watch. Came to watch you train.
He's going to insight that. 17, wow, he's been rolling good.
Hard to read.
Is that all you're after?
Just doing little interviews, I suppose. I heard you defeated Abergrim about a year ago. That's quite the accomplishment.
Yes, it's my biggest accomplishment. It's what I've become known for.
I see. I keep very close tabs on that fiend. I lost track of him for about a year or so, but it seems you put him back in his place. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I'm glad to help serve the people and protect them.
You see, her eyes kind of look like they like glint with humor a bit at that. And you see Peter kind of still grasping at his sword and just looks at her and she's like,
This isn't a game, Ilya. Why are you here right now? We're training and you're interrupting. You're not watching. Of course not, but you're all certainly acting like this is a game. But I'm here to talk to you, Avayath. You went head-to-head with one of the most powerful fiends in existence and lived to tell the tale. That seems like Chosen One potential to me if I've ever seen it.
I do believe I'll be the Chosen One, with all my heart.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm surprised you're not sparring.
And with that, she like kind of vanishes before reappearing only like a few feet in front of Peter, who very quickly takes a step back.
Avayath is going to activate an ability now, because he's very hostile.
Yeah, go
he's
for it.
Aura of Protection just to protect Peter.
Okay, yeah. She kind of, you see her head like twist towards you at that, like she sees that you seem to have activated something, and narrows her eyes at you before looking back to Peter. And you can tell that she is like talking to you, but like looking at Peter.
You took a fiend that even Chosen Ones couldn't bring down, so surely Peter isn't too much of a challenge for you. I'm sure he'll go easy on you.
I'm honored to have Peter as my mentor. I think he'll do a great job.
And she kind of looks towards you and turns and starts to walk a little bit closer to you. A little too close for comfort.
As soon as she gets close enough, he's gonna, like, swing his swords towards her. Stop at the neck, though, not gonna chop her head off. Don't come any closer.
Wouldn't dream of it. Again, I'm just here to observe.
I want you to make a dex save.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dex saves are not his forte. Oh, damn. Okay, I guess they are.
You see? Yeah. Okay, you see that she kind of, like, makes a move. Like, even though you're pointing this blade at her, she starts to, like, reach up to, like, try and grab your arm. But before she does, you see just this very bright green barrier light up around her. And you watch her eyes go wide in surprise before turning back to Peter, and she looks to him and she's like,
Did you just try and hit me?
And Peter's just kind of staring at her. Does not look like he moved to you at all. And he's just like,
I can see why you picked that one.
And she cocks her head a little bit and she's like,
Try and hit me again and you'll see who else I brought.
And she looks back towards you, Avayath.
Were you going to cut off my head, or were you just going to stand there?
I will cut off your head if you take another step.
Fair enough.
And she kind of starts to take a step back at that, and Wynn gets up from the pews and he's just like, okay, so there's a lot of tension in the room right now, but it's like still raining pretty bad. We can't do sparring in the church. That's like, that's a no-no. And he's very like trying to diffuse the situation with words, which doesn't appear to be working. But Ilya does kind of stop after a long pause and take a few steps back very slowly.
You're right. I forgot how smart you are, Mr. Dual Knight. Well,
watch you spar another time then. And she starts to make her way out of the church.
One last question.
Sure.
Why are you here at the training camp? What's your real motive?
I already told you, I'm here to observe. I want to know who's more likely to become the next chosen one.
Gonna insight that again. It's not gonna work. 17.
Hard to read.
Avayath doesn't even give a verbal response. He's just kind of rude and walks away from her.
She is currently like out towards your exit, but before she continues, she kind of looks a little bit over her shoulder at you and is just like, I have a strange idea for you to consider, Mr. Abaddon.
I'm not interested in your suggestions.
Not a suggestion, just an inquiry.
Suppose I might as well hear you out. What is it?
What if, hear me out, what if the Abergrim let you win?
Let me win?
Yes, let you win.
With the damage the Abergrim did, I don't imagine it would just give up like that.
Maybe it would.
I think that's a preposterous idea.
Just a thought. And she starts to make her way out.
Avayath just watches her as she goes out looking angry, but I'm horrified. Avayath is not, but I was like, oh god, they're gonna fight. Jesus, my character's gonna die.
She almost touched him!
I'm so scared. She got a very, very low roll on trying to... She got a nat 1, so very low. The lowest she literally could have gotten. But yeah. And Peter just kind of watches her go, looking equally upset. Don't listen to her. She spouts a lot of nonsense.
Indeed she does. Do you think we should coordinate some way of getting her out of here?
Perhaps. Certainly can't do any training with her staying.
She seems to be a nuisance to everyone.
She is.
Can't understand why she was invited in the first place.
I don't think she was. I think she just decided to come. If Arthur didn't properly break off and make clear that we weren't doing business with Black Peak anymore, she'll take that as an invitation.
What a bother.
I can see why he did it. Cutting ties with Black Peak for them is a declaration of war.
I see. I guess the circumstance is more complicated than I realized.
Sure it is, but... do you want to be associated with people like this in any sense?
I'm afraid it may be too late for that. I'm already associated with the Abergrim in a way.
You are. He kind of looks you over at that.
I'm known for defeating the Abergrim, and I have a target on my back because of the foes that I've taken down.
I see. Well, I think our training should end here for today. Don't take what she said to heart again. Doesn't make sense for a fiend like that to give up.
I won't. I don't trust a single word that comes out of her mouth.
Good, you shouldn't. I'm going to go back to the library. Wynn, will you accompany me? Wynn's like, yeah. Ooh, scary lady.
Avayath hesitates before leaving.
So we continue.
Will you continue on where?
Up to you guys. What do you guys want to do?
I wanted to talk to Arthur a little bit.
Okay, cool.
So Theo's at the library still. Well, where's Arthur?
Arthur, I would say at this point has started to looks like he's getting chalk and looks like he's practicing making that circle that he made before on the stage, except here.
Theo had a while of researching with Brandy, and then they parted, and then Theo was a little bummed. And he loitered for a while before actually going up to Arthur. And is doing a spell with the chalk again.
Oh, just practicing. This circle is a hard one to get right.
Why? Is there something particular about it?
It's just... I guess you could say that, yes. It's a little more complicated than a normal teleportation circle.
Right.
I mean, you saw it. I told you before. Or at least I told your friends. I get them mixed up. He's making in his you can see him taking his two fingers and trying to scout out who he was talking to about what. And he's just I mentioned to someone at some point. It's We're in the same place. We're just not in the same point in time, I suppose.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, you didn't figure it out.
What am I to figure out?
He kind of gives you a little bit of a grin, and he's just like, you went to the future, Theo.
Okay. Huh? Is that what your teleportation circle is? It's, time circle?
Sort of. There are constraints to it.
Okay.
It's not, it's something that was specifically tied to this particular circle. I had a friend. Or I have a friend. He's somewhere. Somewhere. But he had a spark that allowed him to travel through time.
Go on.
Yes, well, my laboratory, he helped me build it, well, with technology and things like that. He actually wasn't very good at that sort of thing, but he knew a lot of people who could help make up for it.
So, you can just do that. You can just go to the future now.
Only in my laboratory.
Right, okay. It seems so... I guess I didn't consider some sparks being so universe-bending.
Well, he was a chosen one, not necessarily... Well, actually, he seems to be thinking, that's actually quite interesting, because in the future, they don't call them chosen ones anymore. It's different.
What did they call them?
Well, actually...
Us? Or what?
It's not... They don't even call them sparks anymore. It's very different.
What is it?
Well, there are... He seems to be trying to think a little bit. The system of how things work changed quite a bit. They change with time and with the way that the rules bend with them. Right now, I think, is probably the best time in history to be a spark.
And why is that?
Because there are conditions in the future that are not ideal to meet.
So, you have your lab, and then you had your friend, who is somewhere.
Somewhere, yes. He's actually supposed to be a mentor, but he never showed up.
What's his name?
He looks at you a little bit and smiles, and he's like, well, he likes going by his last name, Zyri.
He's like, oh, right, okay, well, I suppose if I meet a Zyri, I'll tell him that you're looking for him.
Oh, he knows I am. We cross paths every now and again, but he's off somewhere. I don't know what he's doing.
Aha.
It's hard. I can spend decades in my lab and not even realize it sometimes. I think he has the same issue.
So wait, when you're around, have you taken decade-long breaks?
Oh, all the time.
But as I've known you.
Oh, yes.
That explains why you were always away and...
I tried to be careful with it, but he looks out towards everyone. He's like, I get everyone confused after a bit. It's hard to remember who I had a conversation with who. I write down all my notes and make sure I record them and all that, but it's still hard.
Right. That is certainly something. I came over here to ask you why you intimidated everyone into not picking me, but...
Oh.
This is a lot.
Oh. Intimidate is a strong word. I'm not very intimidating.
I just happened to hear that you had a contract that no one knew about, and, no one knew the certain rule that you were referring to with each mentor getting 2 students, and that's why no one could pick me. I guess I don't really mind, it's just... it's surprising, I guess. Why were you so adamant about it?
Your final with Peter sparked my interest.
Right, the eye thing that looked like me.
Interesting. For sure.
I've no idea what that was about. It's not necessarily a fear of mine. I don't know why it really showed up. I guess I could say it disgusted me, but...
The thing with the astral golem is it does show fears, and it also... It's interesting. It can have some... I don't know how you put it. Crossing the streams, it's like... Oh, that you wouldn't understand that reference. It's, it can get some interference according to what is tied to you specifically.
Okay.
So if you haven't met a creature like that before, and you don't think it necessarily tied into a fear, there is a chance that there is something connected to you that the golem picked up instead.
Is this anything to do with your lab being in the future? Maybe it already knew because of that, of something that I'm connected to because it's in the future or something.
I'm not sure if it was necessarily talking about the future in this sense. He thinks about it for a moment. He's like, but you did have your clothes change, which is interesting, and that is the first I've had that happen with a spark in training.
I did ask about that, or at least I asked Brandy. Well, he didn't change either, and it surprised me, and I don't understand why. I mean, I guess, the future is a very interesting and vast and a very cool concept, but the fact that we actually went there, and I mean, I'm just surprised, I guess.
He kind of smiles at that, and he's like, but it's exciting, isn't it? Seeing the future? I could take you outside the lab sometime.
You could?
I could. Once we're through and inside, I am able to control it a little bit better.
Ah.
We could go to the past even if you wanted. He seems like he's getting really excited.
Oh. I mean... it is really cool sounding. That would be really interesting. He crosses his arm and puts one hand to his chin, looking off in thought, and he's like, and think of all the things that have been created since from now to then, and when is it in the future? How far?
For me, well, it's hard to say because I started off, actually, I was only a few hundred years farther than this point initially when Zyri came and found me.
You say it as if it's nothing.
Well, yeah, it starts not being much of anything. I have a little bit of a situation going on, but let's not dwell on that. For me, when Zyri first contacted me, it was a few hundred years from this point in the future, and from there we've hopped all around. There's also there's a lot of problems and issues and things that have popped up. See, the lab that we use, technically I built, but I didn't remember building it. But Zyri said that I built. There's a lot of paradoxes that are kind of going on, and that create some issues, some problems. I sort of don't exist in time anymore, but it's fine. It's.
Oh, does that mean I don't remember the clothes that I picked that you said that I had because it remembered me?
That is interesting, and I would love to unpack that at some point. But no, I don't understand that. I don't think I've ever seen you before, so that's why that's confusing to me.
Yes, I'm not really a special face or anything.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, I feel like if I saw you before and then I saw you again, I feel like I would remember, but I don't know.
Regardless, wait, how far did you say in the future that it was?
Oh, the farthest that I have been is 10,000 years?
The 10,000?
That's the farthest. That's not where the lab is. That's just the farthest I've been.
And you said you've gone decades without coming back. Why? Is there a reason that you come back to this point?
Yes? I don't, He seems to, be trying to think.
Like, if you can go to any, or maybe if you can't go to any time, or, well, if you can go there, why do you come back here?
There's something specific that happens around this point in time, and I don't think... There's lots of things that I would love to tell you and teach you and show you. I could show you the beginning of the universe. That is interesting.
Oh my
But...
God. Oh, never mind. You know, it's all very good. Very interesting. You know, I've laid awake and pondered what something like that might have looked like, but I don't know if I could actually go through seeing it.
Oh, no, it's fine. We don't have to. I just got excited. But there are certain things I can tell you and I can talk to you about. And I know I can because we're still here. And he kind of looks around and gestures and he's like, if I create...
Is it dangerous to be talking about it?
Oh, but it's fine because we're still here. He waves his hand a little bit.
What if I say something wrong?
Not if you say something wrong, more so if I say something wrong. And I've tested the waters with this quite a bit at this point, and I know the things that I say that if they create large enough of a paradox, then things start to kind of,
Have you, okay.
So yes, I don't think I can necessarily tell you why this point in history is so important. And again, I have seen a lot of histories and a lot of different points and things and all that, and how things change and turn out, and that's why I'm still stuck on why I don't think I've ever met you before. It's still very interesting. Especially one who has as much potential as you had. That is remarkable that I have never heard of you or seen you.
I'm really not. I'm not that interesting or anything like that. I'm just a...
But that's why it's so interesting, don't you think?
No, I'm just a farmer. I went to college, I learned about plants and animals, and I went back to the farm, and I farmed for years, and now I'm here, and I got bit by a snake.
And somewhere along the line, you created a big enough of a paradox for there to be a strong connection to my laboratory, which is, again, very interesting.
I'm sure it was a mistake. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Must have been... Oh gosh, who knows at this point.
Well, you know, actually, if you had any reading materials that I could maybe comprehend on my own time.
Sure, I could get something for you. Is there anything in particular you're interested in?
Not that I want to read into your notes, but something like...
Notes, I'm sorry, those are off limits. That could definitely cause some problems.
Alright, but notes on, like, comprehending the things that you've said to me today.
Oh, yes, I can work on some notes for that.
Yes, just, like, some clear things written down, like, ooh, this is... The circle that I draw takes me to my lab in 10,000 years from now.
I did want to show you that, actually. I wanted to teach you how to do this, and he gestures down towards the circle.
Oh, boy,
If we're going to be training together, then I would like you to have access to the laboratory.
Right. Yeah, of course. Makes sense to me.
There are a few small rules that, I do have to make with you. You can't ask questions about your own future. I can't tell you anything that's about to happen or going to happen. Half the time I don't even know, to be honest, because I've repeated things so much at this point, and little adjustments here and there that it changes every time. But I...
Wait, you've repeated and it changes?
He looks around. Oh, we're still here. Like he seems to be surprised that he was able to share that. And he's like, yes, I have.
So you've been through multiple timelines?
Yes, that is the way you can put it.
Okay. Well, good to know a theory of mine is true, I guess.
But yes, I can't tell you anything about the the probable future, the possible future, or anything that is a destined event or anything like that. I'm not allowed to. That has always caused bad things to happen, so we won't be doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to break the universe.
Yes. Let's not do that.
Yes, I quite like being alive right now.
But, well, we could technically do this training at any point if you want. We don't. This is a place that I know for certain Alia will not be able to visit us.
Right, okay, yes,
Not now. I'm trying to get a couple things right before I teach you how to do them yourself. Even I mess it up sometimes, and you don't want to mess this up.
Ah, that's good to know. I'm sorry for bothering you for so long. It was just that I was so, I don't know.
No, it was a good conversation. I like talking to you, Theo.
Oh, well, thanks. I mean, if it was less, brain hurting, then I'm sure I would have felt less anxious. But
it gets easier with time.
Right. Well, I hope you find your friend.
Well, he has to find me.
Ah. Well, I hope Mr. Zyrie finds you. And, I look forward to learning about how to make the circle.
Yes! I look forward to teaching you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go read things that I can comprehend.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thumbs up at him.
He gives you a thumbs up back. Gives you a peace sign. No, just kidding. No, he just gives you a regular thumbs up.
Awkwardly walks away.
You see him more enthusiastically sketching circles now, which is just on the wood, by the way, of this library.
It's not his library, so...
Yeah, you see kind of be like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, sorry.
Okay, Theo goes away, and he's not going to go up to Brandy, but he goes near wherever Brandy went to, I'm sure he's brooding, just to feel a little bit of comfort after all that.
Alright, man. Fucking call me out, whatever.
Look! Okay, tell me where you had Brandy go then.
Well, now he has to be brooding because that's what you said, so now he's brooding.
Okay, so he's brooding. Where's he brooding?
I don't know, somewhere in the library.
Okay, Theo goes near him and pretends to read, but is just anxious.
Gotcha.
Avayath makes his way back and paces back and forth, trying to remember shit. Can I have him do a history check on that voice that he heard in the booth?
Sure, you can.
It's not good at history. Nope. 4.
Nope, just sound like a creepy fucking voice.
Shui sees Avayath, runs up to him, a smile on his face. He's like, yeah, you're back.
Yes, hello there, Shui.
How'd training go? Did you have fun?
He kind of looks down, like, not happy, and he's like, it didn't really go according to plan. Our training was interrupted by Alia.
Alia? You mean the keeper?
Yes, the keeper.
What is she? Are you okay?
I'm fine. She looks like she was about to make some kind of attack, but she didn't. She learned to back off.
She just has like a look of worry, not really for like Avayath's sake, because in his heart he knows Avayath will be okay. He's just like, oh, what does she want?
I tried asking her that. She said she just wants to observe his training, but I'm skeptical about that.
He swallows. He's like, well, that's not too bad then, right?
I don't think she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
It was a very tense conversation. Peter even tried attacking her, it seemed.
He kind of winces at that. He's like, I overheard Master Peter yesterday saying that he might kill her.
If he does, then I'll do the same.
We'll double kill her.
Yeah. I'll super kill her.
Peter will kill her, and then I'll kill her, and then he'll kill her again, and then I'll kill her again.
And then kill you again.
I'll become a necromancer just to kill her twice.
Shui says, "You think killing her is the right answer?"
Well, as it was described earlier, she's a war criminal, and if it comes to it, she's a danger to everyone here. So I'll do what I must.
But we don't even know what crimes she was charged for. What if they're not even all that bad?
I suppose you're right. It's worth looking into at the very least. But I have a bad feeling about her. I'm afraid letting her go might lead to things even worse.
Huh. And he's just like looking up at the sky. He's like, rain's not really letting down, is it?
No, it's not. Might be good timing, though. It discourages us from wandering outside on our own.
This feels... this rain feels weird.
Feels uneasy.
He nods his head at Avayath's words, like, I agree with you. And he's like, let's go back with the others.
Good idea. He lightens up a little bit and marches on over.
I would say during your conversation, you see Wynn and Peter make their way back inside through the entrance. There's more than one entrance, by the way. Those 3 halls all lead to a separate entrance, which is why all the mentors guard them. But you see Wynn and Peter kind of make their way towards one of the other entrances. Peter walking kind of fast and Wynn seeming to, as usual, just be like very loud conversation, bubbly.
What did Wynn say?
Just kind of seems to be filling space, honestly, like conversation-wise. Like he cannot allow a second of silence.
That's funny.
Also seems kind of nervous, but you know.
Yeah, well...
Theo is anxiously reading. He's sweating a little, but he looks like he's sort of not focused on whatever's on the page.
She's like, what you reading, Theo?
Huh? Oh, he turns the book to look at the title. He's like, just some history, I guess.
Huh? What's it about?
I haven't really gotten invested, so he closes the book.
The book was upside down.
Oh, I was just, distracted. Okay, yeah, I wasn't reading it. I just wanted to stand here.
Okay. She's like, are you okay, Thea?
Yeah, yes. I'm fine. It was just that, I talked to Arthur and he just is a lot of, the universe is vast and I just, I think about it a lot, but then he starts talking about how it's like, oh, going to the future and I could take you to any point in time and all that, and I just like, yeah, yeah, I'm so glad that he's teaching me.
You gonna go back to that super cool office again?
Yeah, I guess I am, and I guess I'm gonna learn how to do the circle thing that he made.
I wanna know, he says, quite excitedly.
I guess if you wanted to ask him, you could ask him.
I wonder if it's hard.
He said even he gets it wrong sometimes, and you don't want to get it wrong, apparently.
Shui's eyes drift apart.
Yeah. He's like, maybe I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll get it wrong plenty. Pretty amazing, though. Thinking about different versions of time. Kind of cool.
Do you think it still rains all those tomorrows away?
Do you mean this particular storm?
Do you think the sun shall... Okay. Do you think the sun shall shine? Oh, I can't say this. I can't say it. Cassie, you cursed me. Do you think the sun shall shine? I can't say it.
Do you think the sun still shines?
Yeah.
Okay, Okay, say it slowly then.
Okay, but Shui's saying it fast.
Say it slowly.
And then say it fast. Work up to it.
Okay, hold on.
Reset.
Do you think the sun still shines?
Good enough.
He stutters a little bit.
Yeah. Theo gives a smile and he's like, well, I mean, I guess I don't know yet. Haven't really seen the outside of his office.
You can go outside?
Well, he said, maybe eventually.
Doesn't that sound cool, Yaya?
That does sound cool. You could watch my fight against the Abagrim.
Oh,
Oh, now Shui's sad. He got really, really fucking excited and he got really sad.
yeah, I guess. Could do that.
You could go see anything.
Maybe I can go see my parents.
Oh, gosh, maybe talk to Arthur about it. I don't know if it's possible. It seems like, really magical. I wonder if it's even real.
Indeed. Brandy, you've been kind of quiet. What you think about?
He wasn't really doing anything. He was just like sitting. He like looks over to Shui.
I'm always kind of quiet.
I guess that's true.
Brandy, where would you go if you could go back in time?
Nowhere.
You'd stay right here?
I don't want to go back.
I see.
There's nothing worth going back to.
Maybe let's not... What were you guys up to?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You just
literally
asked
Shui.
the dude with the worst.
Everybody got quiet.
You could feel how awkward it immediately got when he said that.
Literally, Theo looked so sad for a minute. He wanted to go over to him, but they're having a conversation. So.
Shui's like,
there was such a anyways type energy to that. Yeah, I was like, this conversation is immediately awkward. Well, moving
I should
on.
have chosen different words because you could go into the future, but he said if you could go back.
yeah.
Yeah, he
If you could
specifically
go
said
back.
back.
Clearly, you have not had any trauma, and
Anyway, let's not.
Yeah, Shui's like, well, I trained with... I forgot his name, almost the Titus. I trained with Riddle. He taught me how to maintain my balance.
by teach, you just pushed against each other for like 30 minutes.
Well, that was nice of him.
He's like, yeah, watch. Yaya pushed me.
All right.
Oh my god.
Would that be a strength check, or can I do
yeah,
an athletics?
you would be strength against Shui's strength.
Okay, that's not going to be nearly as absurd then. Oh, not
Oh
one.
my god!
Oh my god.
Check what Shui got.
I rolled a 19.
A 19.
Oh my
You go to push Shui, and your armor is still like full of water from outside and like is leaking through your suit, and so you go to push him and you fucking slip and fall.
Why?
Whoa! Your balance is really good. It worked. You've become a master at it.
It's
my
because
gosh.
like when he fell, the fucking ground shook. For sure he maintained his balance and did not fall.
Everyone falls. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Are you alright, Avayath?
Oh, I'm quite all right.
Shui's laughing at Avai. He's like, yeah, how'd you fall?
I have all this water in my armor that got in. I need to empty it out again.
Oh my gosh, don't do
Again.
it in the library, please.
He doesn't lie.
You take off your helmet
Avayath.
and it's like a waterfall.
Avayath! There are books!
You hear
Oh.
Erm just going, no!
I'm sorry.
Avayath.
I'll mop it up.
I'll help you.
A bunch of Erm's little clones running around with like buckets and mops and like above their head, and they're just screaming, "No, no, no!"
Oh my gosh, Avayath, just not near the bookshelves, please.
Of course, I'm not doing that again. I apologize. Oh, that's embarrassing.
As you guys are continuing to have this conversation, eventually you see Essel kind of make her way down the steps and kind of head towards your group.
Theo sweats.
She approaches, looking also kind of uncomfortable, and eyes you all over for a moment, and then turns her gaze to Brandy, and she's like, "Brandy, do you want to train today, or would you prefer to wait?" You can wait if you want to.
No, that's me. That's me, Ripley. He sighs and stands up.
Sure. We can, do that, I guess.
I'd like to start just with a general check-in considering the situation before we do any combative training.
Alright.
She gives you a small nod, and she's like,
Peter is occupying my main study currently, but we can take the smaller one.
Sure.
and she starts heading up.
Good luck.
Yeah.
He grimly follows.
Call me if you need anything.
Will do.
I'm here crying out for you, so you'll find me at last and wipe away our past. Even now, falling towards something beyond this new script. The show starts without stars. I'm here crying out for you, so you'll find me at last and wipe away our past. Even now, falling towards something beyond this new script. This show starts without